Now you're on.
It is 6 o'clock. I'll call this meeting of the Parks Committee to order. We're here tonight to discuss the ongoing park project that's shared between Enon, the Village of Enon, and Mount Township. At our last meeting, we discussed a phase 1 project of potential 3 baseball diamonds being built. We also discussed a possible water feature in the south corner and the completion of a walking trail. Do we have any updates on the water feature?
On what?
On the water park, the water wetland project?
Kevin, you want?
We talked to Caleb Shields from ODNR. He stopped down and had a nice visit with him. And in front of you, he is a kind of a drawing of what his thoughts are about the design of the wetlands. He says it's definitely doable. He did introduce us, or not introduce us, but brought us information on the H2 Ohio grant that can be applied for the purpose of that. We are past the application deadline for 25, but he's going to let us know when that they haven't announced the new application date as of yet. So, but he's going to stay in contact and let us know. He was pretty excited. He liked he lives out off of Rubber Pike someplace.
Okay.
So he's kind of a local person. So he knows the area, he knows the park. So he was kind of willing and excited to come down and talk to us about it. He did also mention about Warden Ditch, that there is funding possibly available to clean that out, to rearrange it a little bit, make it some curves, whatever, to make it maybe possibly come into the wetland and then back out of the wetland, into the ditch again. So he said there's a lot of possibility there. Other than that,
For everybody's information, Warden's Ditch is the creek land, the creek that runs there on the middle of the property itself. We went into agreement last night with the township as far as to mulch the sides of the creek down there. We can look for possible grants to clean that ditch out, because there's certain requirements have to be done for us to do that. But aesthetically, the township has some equipment that we'll be able to use to do the sides of the banks there, and to clean out some of the deadfall. Now, in conjunction with that, we do have a walk path that we anticipate opening across here that will tie into Enon Park. If you can see on the drawing up there, we currently have a walk path in Enon Park presently that's established. We have a natural walkway that will go back through here. Between the township and the village, we've cleared out this whole back area here to allow a walking path to go along that. It goes into a wetlands back here a little bit, and then it goes back into a natural path alongside the creek there. There is a quote-unquote bridge just about in this area here, but for right now, the walk path would remain on the north side of the creek, running up to about here to come back into Enon Park and to make this entire circle. You're talking about 1.7 mile just on the north side of the creek. So we have an expectation that will be open hopefully this spring in order to let people start using that pathway across there.
he brought us, he gave me the 2024 packet to kind of look through on the H2O grant, H2O Ohio grant, just to kind of see some of the requirements, things like that. Also, he gave us a kind of a sample environmental covenant agreement with the ODNR if this is something that we want to do with them. It is forever. It's an agreement forever. And I know there was some questions about any yearly kickbacks or anything like that, for giving the land up, but there's nothing in that for government. That kind of happens to private people, so. So yeah, I mean, it was a good conversation and kind of looking forward to talking to him again, so.
So would it be a good idea to maybe schedule him for our next meeting to come in and maybe do a presentation?
I think that'd be.
I would think that'd be good.
So yeah, once we figure out when we want to meet again, we'll just go with that. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I can contact him when we let him know when the next meeting is, and I'm sure. And if not, I can ask for a couple dates anyhow. If the one that the meeting will work for
Okay.
him.
Yeah, we can make it work
Yeah.
if he can't make it that day.
There is. He also did mention if you do change that, creek, the ditch. Naturally, the Corps of Engineers, things. There's a lot of people, a lot of hoops to jump through. But he says it's not impossible. And there is what was pretty interesting. There is an aperture type thing, a structure that we can put in to control how much water goes into the wetland and things like that, how deep you want it. Now the wetland, there's been talk about from different people about a duck pond or a fishing pond. The wetlands that he is talking about he says normally not over 3 feet deep. So
Okay.
What percent of the service area has to be 3 feet deep?
It's all
Just a
negotiable.
Heskin. Can we make it, say, 30% of it a pond and wetlands
that's a
surrounding
good
it?
question.
So that's why we need him here, so we
Yeah,
can
we need him. Yeah.
pick his brain a little
Yep.
bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I would like to have at least some of, we may need that material, so we
Yeah, I
may
don't know
have
that he
to.
said if there was any limit as far as,
Yeah.
where you had to have a minimum or a maximum off of that.
I don't remember that
He
conversation,
said it
but
went
that'd
up
be
to
good.
$500,000 where they had as far as grants that would be open for that, if memory serves. But November, I think, is when he said the time frame was to be able to provide those back for this year.
So yeah, I say when we schedule next meeting, we'll just see if he's available.
Mhm.
Maybe if nothing else, we can always adjust the meeting
Sure.
around him as
Okay,
well.
sounds good.
He had a lot of fresh
November.
ideas that we didn't think of as far as that, but particularly about using ripples coming off of the Warden's Ditch into the pond. If we'd make a pond down there and then bring that back into the Warden's Ditch. So you'd have fresh flow of water that'd be coming out of that and be able
You'd
to.
have a full-time job trapping beavers too. Once they hear that ripple, and that's what they would be doing. I just had something for you and it just slipped my mind. Okay, go ahead.
Now, this, last time, the end of the meeting between the volunteers and the citizens and the people that were here present from the village, this is the new rendering that we have for the park based off of what what we thought might be a reasonable expectation to start taking baby steps on the fields down there. So going from the old Enon Park, where you see the complex with 4 diamonds over there and the 2 adjacent to that, we thought, can we get by with 3 according to the softball group? And this is the re-rendering that we've got for parking and having 3 diamonds that would be across that. Ideally, I think we'd be looking in total off of that, what would you say, around $100,000, I would imagine, because the dirt work was gonna be around 30-some thousand, but roughly.
We would be, to put those 3 in, we would be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was 175,000.
Okay. So that was what we thought, how can we start providing for the needs of the people in the community now? And we don't know that it's gonna be fiscally able at this point to go into that this year. So that's something we need to talk about as far as what we really want to do this summer and what our projections are
In my
realistically.
let everybody know that wasn't here. Enon Little League basically needs 3 fields for this. If we can't give them 3 fields, they can't really play, so we don't see a reason to go down there and scratch around and build one and then not use it. So
And these fields are just about 320 foot out on the fence, the left field lines or the right field lines respectively off of this. So also, these new renderings incorporated the parking lots. Okay, let me update that. There's another one after this that incorporates the parking lot up here. Yeah, where's that at? Sorry about that. But anyway, this is the way that we ask them, how can we go ahead and have diamonds put in? To do that, most diamonds are going to be just a little bit awfully off the northeast direction, and this kind of accomplishes that if that's what we want to do at some point. Still with the expectation that we'd like to have maybe some of the kiddie fields over here at some point in the future, but again, baby steps in order to try to get something going off of this, respectfully.
And one of the questions brought up after the last meeting was for Little League softball, and the discussion at the end of the last meeting was they would need a fully functional concession stand before we were to entertain them coming over as well. So I think getting the Little League here would be our priority right now, because I don't think softball's in a position to move yet, nor do they. I don't think they're expecting to move anytime soon. So. But I think once we get the initial phase of the 3 ball diamonds done, I think one that would help us with securing funding to do the additional parts of the park that we want. But I don't think that's going to be feasible this coming season.
No, so I think tonight where our direction needs to be is where we're going to go with our farming. How much we want to farm, if we want to farm, because I believe this year will probably be corn, won't it, Bob? Do you have any idea?
Yeah.
We were soybeans last year. So we've got different,
And if we're not gonna farm next year, we need to let him know, when do you guys usually buy your chemicals? August?
I mean, yeah, we
For
want
the
to be
next
letting them
year.
know pretty early, pretty late this year.
As soon as possible, but I still have a problem not farming it, personally. It's leaving money on the table. I don't like leaving money on the table, in my opinion.
I mean, and they might be, if not them, someone else might be interested if we're still doing 15 acres in there or something. We're still generating a little money back. So it's-
and that's what we need to look at tonight, is what realistically can we do? Where could we come up with this funding? I think we're a little bit late in it because now they're already making signups I saw this weekend, I think it is, for the softball or the girls softball or the Little League. So they're gonna be indebted to Snyder Road, and
Yeah.
we couldn't give them quality fields by this
No.
summer anyway.
Even if we started now, it'd be next year, I think. I
You
mean,
know,
that's,
we're gonna need a stand of grass to
Yeah.
come in there, so ideally, maybe we look at, as soon as they take the corn down, or whatever we could do.
Thinking like this, proceed with the walk path
Right.
and
See-
rent about 40 acres to the farmer.
Yep.
And work on our H2O Ohio money, see what options are there. And
Now, we're gonna need access on that south side, that's gonna be
Sure.
a question, to cut that corner, to get up there on the
Mm-hmm.
top of the hill.
right, and that's why I like your sketch you did there, because you got, kind of leaving the buffer all the way around to everything. As part of this ditch work on one ditch that we're doing now, we need to kind of create a grass buffer along there so our mower tractor can get down through there.
that's gonna be the walk path.
There's a natural walkway there
Well,
right now, too,
but-
so,
But we don't have anything currently, so
Yeah.
this is how your buffers are shown all the way around. I think that's pretty good. That, you probably could make it 40, and I bet that's reasonable and that's a little over
and it's
$12,000
gonna be plus or
coming in.
minus too, so,
Mm-hmm.
now, following that up, we do now have an account set up through the village, for the park itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if there was donations or money comes into that, we can give people, receipts for, taxable donations to work on the park. We did get the state approval on that, and that is in effect right now.
Do we have anything on the website about that yet?
Oh, I do.
Okay.
And we should try to, whenever they get together for
Yeah.
that, we should get on our website too.
Yeah, email that packet to me and I'll get it. I'll get it on ours.
I also thought maybe we could get maybe someone to do a park project link that they could hit and maybe go to some of the pictures we have and some of the other project stuff we have already, and maybe have an update thing in there as well, that if someone was to click on it, they could see some progress, maybe?
That would be good. Brenda even mentioned one time having a kind of chronology of the things that have happened with the purchase of the park and moving forward, so I can see that we have continued to make progress, even though from the road itself, it looks like it's just a dead field back there. But, you know, it's been a lot of work and a lot of expense has been put in there between equipment that's been purchased and actually the manpower that's been back there.
Actually, people need to know also, this was also bought to protect our well fields and for future expansion. So even if nothing ever happens, we protected our water.
Right.
And we're gonna have to, I mean, eventually you're gonna need more water, so we're gonna be punching them other two wells, so this was something we really could not, in my opinion, pass up.
When the village purchased that, part of the money was taken out of the wellhead protection plan, the water department, and also ARPA funds. So in order to do that, it was, should we ever need the expansion of a well or two wells, then that serves a purpose for that. So even as a park, it goes hand in hand with the future project, should we ever need another well. Right now, probably things that we need to be looking at as far as coming to agreement on how we're gonna manage the maintenance on the park this summer. We're probably gonna have to put a fence on that south side, I would think, that would abut the present Conley property over onto ours. Because if people would, as you would go on that south side of the hill up there and go up the hill, coming off Enon Road, where their property comes back here in this corner, that cuts pretty close. So we're probably gonna have to make some type of fence that would go from Enon Road, from the property line there between us and I can't remember her name.
Cindy.
Cindy, yeah. Cindy, to run back here and then tie into our fence up on the top of the property. So we need to make that, because if we would do let people, it'd be nice to have this area open to have a little scenic plateau, I guess is one way to put it, where people could actually start using that if they came off the walk path, but to realize that this is quite a view or tranquil area you could go up there and sit. We don't want them going on the property.
Talking vinyl fence or split rail fence?
Whatever we could tie into. I think that there's a natural fence line that goes on this side up here as you go up the hill, but we don't have any fence line that goes from Enon Road to this current fence line here. Do we? Because we got this where it goes between the
That's what
backside
I'm
of the
aware of.
property.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Yeah, there's no fence down there from behind our barn, but where that little,
Right about
that
here,
map doesn't indicate it, right?
right about here, isn't it, Todd?
Yeah. There's a little
Yeah.
jog in that. I think there's a fence starting right there by
Yeah.
their property, but
So right here is where that terrace, or you start having that roll that comes off of their property onto the lower property there. So we're gonna have to make something that would delineate the property lines there from Enon Road back to that corner to be good neighbors. And I know last year we took care of all the mowing across there, so we did purchase another tractor to be able to knock that down too. So we bought a John Deere, I think it's 2023. But,
we got our tractor. We can always hit it.
Yeah.
We've had, but is there a reason that we finish mowed all that all year? I mean,
we what?
is there a reason we finish mowed all the way back around the fields and everything?
We always have did along that ditch line, haven't we?
Along this one,
Yeah,
or that, yeah.
yeah. That's been just standard practice over the
I
last.
mean, I understand if it's going to be a walk path, but when it was just being mowed, I didn't get that. I didn't get it. That's
I
just my
think the
opinion.
guys did it so they could get back there. I don't know. I just know that Doug said that they always had kept that alongside the creek in case they needed to get it back into the creek, I think.
Okay.
Or do something.
Yeah, dig out a dam or
Which
something.
now it's already, it's a natural walkway for us there
Yeah.
now because they did that.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do? Do you want to, it's not going to work doing like 1 week you do it, 1 week we do it. Why don't we just, can you put 2 men? What would your suggestion be? You're in this too, Dave. Should we just assign 1 man that has to get on there and mow once a week?
Good, yeah.
We have a couple guys at the cemetery.
Yeah.
We could bump out.
Or we could, you want to explore,
You guys want to talk about it and then get back to Kevin and.
Take bids
come up
on it or
with- Yeah,
something,
we'll
too?
come up with something off of it, but we'll
Yeah, we could do that.
get an agreement on how we're gonna run
That work.
that, get it done.
yeah, we could look at our guys versus, and even just, doesn't cost anything to entertain some bid, some pricing from some local
Yeah.
mowing operations or something.
Yeah, however you want to do it, as long as we get some idea about, how we want to proceed with that on a regular schedule,
Yeah.
so.
Because right now, like the mowing is the big front area up there next to the guy's house.
Mm-hmm.
And then we mow back around behind there,
We're going
And
to be
then
mowing
down
this
The
the
whole
access road
perimeter
too,
now.
yeah,
all
we'll
the
have
way
the
around the
access
whole
road.
thing. So
Yeah.
say, what are we calling it, like 15 foot wide all the way around the whole perimeter, 20 foot or
10, because it's about 1 down, 1 back, about 10 foot at the
10
most.
foot?
What, 8 to 10 foot?
Probably.
Probably,
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be pretty easy to give us square footage and
Yeah.
get some prices from some people. Just
And it may be cheaper to hire somebody than us, put our men out there
Then you'll
for.
tire guys up. At least, then we could have a number right there, like a known number, what it's gonna cost per week.
We just don't have a guy.
How often did we mow the park park weekly or every 2 weeks?
About every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. Yeah, because I know that, the tractor we just bought, it's got 72 mower deck, the bush hog on it. So,
You can get by doing it every 2 weeks. Let's see, I mean, the school's got 2 contract mower companies that do both sites, so
Yeah.
we could reach out to both of them, they're here, and see what they want, and maybe it's too high. I mean,
yeah, especially.
Yeah, you never know.
That up there on that terrace, that's,
How much of that were you thinking about mowing?
I think if you go down there and you look at it, common sense is gonna tell you what to, because you're gonna see where you can't farm once that starts going up the hill
Yeah, yeah,
there.
yeah.
So whatever can't farm.
Keep all that
make
pretty-
Make it available for the people to go up there and take a picnic or whatever they wanna
Okay.
do, but, and that's why we need to publicize that walking path that's gonna be there, and plus if they would like to go up there on that knoll and to spend some time, that's there for everybody, and start getting the mentality that that's a park there. You know, even if we do have the corn, but, the big thing is just getting the word out that that's gonna be available for people. And I think once we get that determined where we're gonna go on that back area of the wetlands, then we'll get that taken care of. We'll make a press announcement that that's gonna be open and start trying to get some people down into it. Another thing too is to try to get maybe food trucks in there this year, down there at the park, and get some usage out of it. If you guys can think of anything, if the public can think of anything that, in order to, that's one of the reasons why we gravelled the parking lot down there, was to bring food trucks in or bring things similar to National Night Out we had down there. So, the property is there, we just need to get the usage out of it. So, Dave, one thing I'd ask you is search, maybe get in contact with Kevin about some of these grants, what grants we can find, because we just did, you might want to fill them in on playground equipment.
Yeah, we got a NatureWork grant for some new playground equipment that just got delivered today, so we'll be taking down some of that a lot of that old stuff that our insurance company says to either repair it or get rid of it. And it's some of the stuff you can't repair, so.
What
So,
was the total price off that? It was $58.
we got a $37,000 grant through ODNR, so,
That's great.
yeah, through NatureWorks, so. We're putting up the big place that's gonna stay, but all the swings are coming down, gonna get new swings. That big concrete culvert pipe out there is go bye-bye. Got a new climbing piece there. Got a smaller play set that's going to go in.
How big was that culvert?
It's a 4 foot, I think.
How long was it? Just one piece? Or was
Yeah,
it
just one piece. So whatever, it's just standard.
I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recycle.
Got some spring toys, things like that. So it's gonna be fun. We got edging to go around a lot of the stuff. So yeah, once weather breaks, and we're gonna need people to help install. So
So
keep that on
we
your
have-
mind.
That we have in hand, so that's, you said here now.
Yeah, all the stuff's here now. The last time we got
Coordinate a
delivered
food truck party at the same time.
Yeah, food truck party in many hands. That's how it works.
You know, so, once again, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes, but it's just, we're gonna continue to have the problem as far as trying to find proper funding for it, and it's not for not trying, but
Well, I think once we start using the park and showing that it's usable, we can probably start hitting up some of our targeted folks for that.
I think that path's going to be a good key to get done first. I mean, that's
Yeah.
going to be easy to get done. So the
Sure.
long grass, keep it mowed, people can start using that. You know,
And if that wet's back there and we can't really do the wet spot, the wet lands yet, if we need to build that back end up, we can just bring some dirt in or just rearrange some.
yeah, it's,
They don't mess with that 7 acres back there anyway.
right?
We could
whatever
just,
we can do, just elevate that a little bit, and that we can do. We
Yep.
can do it within house if
Yep.
we need to. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
So that's where I see as part of trying to be a priority. Once we get back here, we can work it a little bit.
Yeah.
And get that thing open, let the people start coming in, and especially as that corn would be growing this year, you still got where you can watch people walk back through there and get a realization that it is a park. So the sooner we can get off of that, and if we need to truck some grindings back there or whatever we got to do to do that, then you know that'd be or if we want to stockpile some down there now and have it down there in case when the ground starts breaking, it be able to throw back there.
what's the plan with the small soccer field? So it'd be on the west side of our parking lot now.
That could happen at any time. You're talking about
Well, I'm asking, is it gonna be a soccer field or are we gonna make it a parking lot? The reason I ask,
it's still set up at this time as a soccer field.
okay.
Yeah.
I just thought we had a problem with the width.
The width is not ideal.
Yeah.
The width for a high school field puts it right there at the,
Somebody's car alarm's going off.
oops,
Probably Rick's.
my keys are over there.
It's probably mine now that I'm yakking.
No, if memory serves, it's it's about 2/3 the size of a regular soccer field in
Yeah.
order to get that in there where the road goes. So you could bring a youth group in there.
Hmm.
You could bring a youth group in there and let them use that.
Yeah,
What we talked about too is the open area down there. We could turn into soccer field because you got grounds that eventually that you can turn, into grasslands.
yeah.
But for that up there, it'd be problematic to make it an official soccer field, I think.
Yeah. Well, I was
yeah.
just curious because that would give us a nice spot to stockpile some of those grindings. But on the flip side of that, I think the only other spot that I can think of would be right here where we come in, where that little pie shape is right here. I don't think we're going to be doing a whole heck of a lot with that, and they're probably not going to plant it. There again, it's near the waterway. I don't know if there's any rules with the grindings being that close. I mean, there's things we have to think about.
Oops, I've lost all my.
I'll have to check that out.
But you
I
see
just
where
wrote
I'm
that
talking
down,
about
yeah.
that spot. It's
front
kind of
part.
not being used.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of a place we can put it if we want to clean up a lot. You
Yeah.
know?
We've got
That's all filled there.
we got that area where we stockpile the topsoil, too. Now we cleaned out that tree line that runs north and south there, or east and west.
East and west.
Yeah.
Well, if we did that, we would just make a spot big enough, we could store it.
Yeah.
Because moving all that dirt would be, if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna move it, I got an idea.
Yeah, bring them in there and just on that, maybe that west side or the south side of the tree line there from old Enon Park.
Right,
The
yep.
New Enon Park.
Make a little
access
spot
road.
there.
Put it there so that way we don't sink anybody. We don't have to worry about
Yeah.
rear ends or anything like that. You just back them in there and.
I still think that's a good spot to park, make a parking lot myself.
Their rendering, if you notice, they had. Let me see if I can go back to that. I lost all my stuff here.
Yeah, none of these have it on there, what you sent me, but
That free advertising.
I thought that would be a better spot for a parking lot than in the middle of the field there. I know everybody wants to park close, but that's not that far. I mean, maybe put a handicap, but the more parking we put in, the less it takes away fields. That's my opinion. We got all that other parking down there. It's a little bit of a walk, but from the little side, you know where I'm talking about, the little soccer
Yes.
field.
Yes.
You just walk around. That's only a couple hundred
Right
yard
through there,
walk.
Yeah.
Don't you expect to walk when you go to a park anyway?
I mean, a couple hundred yards, is that dual? Am I wrong at a baseball or soccer function?
No,
Is that, I don't have kids, so I don't know, but if you
Foul
do park,
balls in the windshield.
yeah, the further
your
away,
park
the
right
less the
there.
cars can
That's
be
true.
there.
That's
this would be nice if we had our access road on here, but yeah, if we wanted to stockpile our stuff right across there. The renderings off of,
Yeah, I never thought of that. Foul balls.
Yeah. And people are gonna be parking everywhere anyway, you know, how they're gonna be in the yard, which, well, it's not too wet, it won't hurt anything.
You could even do an asphalt path from the parking over to that for, handicap wheelchairs.
That's what I mean yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
there we go.
at least that portion.
See,
of it's gonna
yeah,
be-
so he's got parking off of that. We got our parking all across here.
I don't agree with that parking there, that's my opinion, but, that's just my opinion.
Um,
All I see is a bunch of money we could put into something else. That money right there would go, you could do another field for that money that parking lot will cost.
Now, he's got,
Aggregate, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Yeah,
what we just spent on that up there.
yeah, just for everybody's information, we put, about $60,000, I think it was, between the parking lot and between the labor in order to get that laid and
was
the
close.
access road.
It was
So,
closer to 90 with labor, wasn't it?
I
thought
think it was 30 and 30. I could be wrong, but,
You could be right.
yeah, so we were with that.
I was thinking it was 60 and gravel.
When we start talking about funding, this cost the village and the township $566,000 in order to buy the property itself. Between the man hours that we put into it and the additional 60,000, we put fencing along this north side of the road. That was 15, around 15.
something like that.
With the addition of the grants for the new park playground equipment, you're looking at, I think it was $56,000, 57, something like that, besides the total package. wasn't
Total
it?
package, total
package.
was right close to 50.
So, you're seeing that we've been putting money out for it, but, as far as the fields themselves, it's just, in order to start those, it's a massive undertaking, especially when you're having to move the dirt in order to get to where you want to anyway, but. Any,
Or the soccer field, yeah, having parking, that's wet and anyhow.
I mean, if we're gonna make it a soccer field, we're gonna have to raise it. We're gonna have to regrade it and raise it anyway. If that's what you're talking about, am I correct? Yeah.
And really what we need to do is once we get these fields in here, by the time that we would be putting in the additional fields, then if we would make this pasture land or grassy area, you can throw a soccer field up anywhere across there essentially. So the way I look at the soccer fields, they're fluid. Your footprint is there, but it doesn't matter where you're gonna put that footprint. So, and we've not had a great outpouring of interest from the soccer groups either at this point, so.
No,
That's where the place that is.
yeah, oh, that's here, this is what I'm talking about
Yeah,
here.
that's the parking.
So, you know, when we had National Night Out,
Mhm.
pretty much the parking was full.
Mhm.
So that'd be a good parking spot over there, Rick, I think. The little
You're
soccer
You're
field,
talking about
the little soccer field
Across from
on the
the,
west.
across from the parking area here.
Because when you're having a function down there, that's where everybody wants to park there anyway.
Well, that's a natural starting point too for the walk path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. Then you just walk, and
You could
if you look
put
how
it-
far you're walking to the diamonds, it's not very far.
Not very far, you could put an
There's
asphalt
there's no
path.
reason why we couldn't, you know, even if we did half of that into a parking lot or
Yeah.
something.
So we can skin a little bit off on that south side and stack our aggregate there that we're getting a deal on if you want.
That
I'm
could
just,
be directly taken over there, and we want to start putting the diamonds in eventually too.
yeah. Yeah.
To get a start off of that, but that's.
I would go with that.
So our immediate goals, I guess, are to, if we want to come out of this, number one is to get this walking nature path, whatever we want to call it, get that thing set up where we can actually use it. Are we in agreement to go ahead and put this out to the farmer to go ahead and field it, or to?
He's already bought his
Yeah.
chemicals. We can't.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, we can't.
Anybody have any grief with that? Dave, if we could get you and Kevin on board on, can you looking for grants and funding? I
Me and
would-
Dave will do that. We do our grants together. We do.
Yeah,
pretty good.
where we can look, whatever we
Guys,
can dig, turn up
We'll
any.
kind of, I'll see what's on our end and what we're,
Are you gonna take care of the wetland? If we can have him do a presentation,
yeah.
we don't have to
we'll
worry
see.
about that till November, but that's what I was gonna tell you. If we do that, I would like to have that bid package at least a month early.
What?
The the grant package for 2026. I'd like to have that a month early. If it has to be in by November, I would like that as early as I can get it. I guess what I'm saying.
Now, I've got to put together one for the Congressman Mike, is it Foley? Kerry? Kerry, for federal, it's a possibility for sort of federal funding, but I've got to talk to Turner's office to see if, I think Matt may have changed here with some of those recent executive orders as far as that funding availability. So that was supposed to be coming up in April.
I still say we go after it and at
Yeah.
least get an
Yeah,
idea
so
of
I
what they're going to
touch
need from
base with
us.
them to see where that's went with after the new administration is in there. I think we're in good shape with our equipment and manpower, because however we want to go with the maintenance down there now, I think we've pretty much got it covered from between you guys and us.
Yeah.
With the equipment.
We would probably be better off. This is just me thinking outside. I mean, our cemetery guys would probably have more flexibility than our road department, because if we have a funeral, they're done. So they might be down there, supposed to mow on Wednesday and can't because of a funeral.
Sure.
But we can take our guys that mow in the cemetery.
However you guys can work it out,
Yeah,
between you
that'd
guys
be
and
my-
Kevin, that'd
What
be
you think
ideal.
would be the
you know,
most
and,
flexible thing?
Well, I think there could be some give and take there too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because we did you by that John Deere, actually, we do maintenance down there too, but, anything from the public, Brenda?
I don't see any restrooms.
What?
I don't see any restrooms on here.
Oh, I did reach out to different, trailer type restrooms.
It's the porta-johns,
Porta
yeah.
johns,
Yeah.
trailer porta johns.
Yeah, the nice ones with the water and
Yeah,
everything. But you want to tell the people that may not know why we have to do that?
part of that's the EP, being in our water treatment area, or wellhead protection area.
And structures they want us 8
Right,
feet above the ground. The whatever the grade is, they want us about 8 feet above that because of
Permanent
flood.
structures have to be 8 foot
Which is-
above what the ground level is down there now, according to the EPA standards. So that kind of prohibits us on, when we get ready to put in a fixed concession stand, restroom, building, that's gonna have to be elevated 8 feet above the land down there. The land doesn't vary by much more than 2 foot across that entire bottom. I think 2 foot, 3 foot at most.
And with that being gravel, that's never gonna flood like that.
Was that
If
for
it
all
does,
of
it's
that
over.
property though? I thought it was just for the lower part of it.
It's
For a big structure
all
down
of
there
it.
in that bottom, all that has
Oh.
to be out.
So that's why we're going after a
Now, if you don't have a
Restrooms.
fixed structure, you could put on piers, but
Yeah.
you're, once again, if you put it on piers, then you're gonna be in a significant, financial, outlay to do that. But what we did look at was, action sports. I don't know if anybody's familiar with being down there. They've actually have, like semi-trailers that have turned into, restrooms. And there are some that are EPA approved. I looked at them, they're about $38,000 starting out. That doesn't get into the service side of it.
that's less than a third of what our foundation would cost on a building.
Yeah, so that's entirely possible, and it's going to have to be if we start putting a park down there, because once you start dealing with AD accessible and all of that, we're going to have to end up providing some type of facilities, and the porta-john is problematic with us, and is the wellhead protection plan, I believe.
Is it really?
Let's stay 300 feet. 300 feet away from the
That's
wells.
what semi-trailers have to be as well. I thought it was 150.
No, 300. That's why we had the porta-john where it was on that fence line, because it was 300 feet away.
300, yeah.
301 feet away.
So we could really put it, I was always saying right there behind Suburban Propane, in that little area we're talking about parking. I always thought that'd be, 300 is the fence row, am I correct?
Pretty close, yes,
Okay.
it's right, yes, it is.
Yeah, so that'd be doable.
Oh, and Kevin did mention last night that he spoke with Ken Weekly, and we're going to clear out the fence line on
On
their
his
side of
side.
the property.
Just
So
take a
that fence
swipe
line
down
on
through there.
the north side that we've
The
got.
honeysuckle, because you guys trimmed out what was coming over onto the property. And there's a bunch still right there on his side of the fence. He said, that's fine. He said, just let him know when we want
Oh,
to do
okay.
that, so.
Oh.
Yeah, on the other guy's property, yeah.
So that'll look nice on that.
Did
area.
Brock start down there already?
not as of noon today.
Okay. We do have that. We talked to you about that. They'll be doing the ditch. We thought this week, but it might be next, it looks like.
Did anybody else have any comments, any thoughts? Yeah, we're, I guess we could throw out there that, if there's an entity that wanted to do a GoFundMe, I think that could be feasible to get started out. There are certain things that would have to be met off of that I'm not educated enough in it to explain the pluses and minuses off of it, but.
That would have to be a private citizen.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say, we can't do
We can't
that.
have any
we-
influence in that
we have to
whatsoever.
serve that.
Yeah.
That would have to be something by the private sector, and we're still looking for people to help us out as well during this, but.
That might be more friendly once you get the information on the website about how progress has been made.
Yeah.
Once they know that progress is being made, then they're going to be more likely to want to do something like that.
Yeah, because we're,
Plus, that would help
Property
us
as well.
market it. We could throw it out there.
Sure.
So,
we're probably working close, I would say, what, 750,000, we probably got close to it in the park as far as everything at this point, I would imagine. Pretty dang close.
And that's just getting the kids a place to play, I think. I think that's pretty close.
What
I-
about this trail? Is it gonna be gravel, dirt?
What, Kathy?
The trail, the walking
Mhm.
path. Is it gonna be gravel, paved? What is it gonna be?
In Enon Park now, where it is, that's mostly cinder, where a lot of people walk their dogs around that now. Once that we get past into the new ground, that's all gonna be pretty much mowed or be a nature
Yeah,
area.
grass,
We-
yeah.
Some of that area that will be problematic, we'll go ahead and put something in there to help walk, to make more of a path out of, but for
I think
right now, it's
mulch.
gonna be more of nature where we can mow it and keep it down, and
Better on your legs. It's good. So put mulch down if it's wet, I think. Don't you? I mean, mulch is good, mulch.
yeah, whatever we can turn for it,
Yeah.
but we'll keep that up as a designated walk area back through there, whatever we have to do
Well,
to
make
make
sure
it.
it's ADA though.
And we gotta make it safe too, you know.
Make sure it's ADA though, we'll have to make sure it's wheelchair.
If it's, if you're handicapped, you're probably not gonna go on a dirt trail, I would think. I don't think John Bryant has
I
ADA
offer
compliant trails.
you have one that's ADA accessible.
That's what Enon is, right?
presently, and I think we can, our president Enon Park should qualify, I think, still as far as ADA accessible, I believe. or pretty
Well,
close.
yeah, I mean, the grindings right now, you could get a wheelchair down if you wanted to. I mean, it's packed and hard and, I mean, that stuff hardens right back up.
But a grass path is just a walk path if you wanna, if you feel you can do it, take off. If not, stay on.
And that's what we need to do is make sure people understand, because I got back in that back corner walking with one of those measuring wheels. That it's a long way to get back up to the front of it. So
Yeah.
once you're back in that back corner, we may have to look at putting a porta john back here in the back at some point if people start using
yeah.
it. But you know, for right now, a lot of this with the fence line on the back along the railroad tracks, that just happened in end of November, beginning of December, a little bit, wasn't it? So we've
Yeah, when we
been taking baby bites, but for what it's worth.
You done with that TV?
Yeah, I think.
So do we want to do our next meeting in March? Or do we want to meet in February?
Do you want to set, did you want to talk to, the guy from ODNR, I just lost his name over, Caleb, and see if, he could make,
See,
You wanna just make
see
a
what's
date?
his available.
Yeah,
Let's see
And then
what
we
we
can
can
do
do
it
in
then.
here and then
And
try
then
to
we'll go
make
from
that-
there?
Yeah, so the
So
sooner the
it's
better off
pending,
with that.
will be pending?
Yeah.
Cool.
would that be what, first week of March, second week of March? Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, let's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
shoot for
calendar
March
front
and
of
see what his availability is.
See if we could do maybe, what is it, on Wednesday now? First would be, we could do the 5th or the 12th.
March?
Yep.
March 5 or 12, right?
See if he can do that, be first or second
Okay.
week, and then see if he's good, and if not, we can move it either way.
Okay.
Whatever makes it easy on him.
6 p.m. too?
Sure.
As well?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was good. He was excited about it, and actually he brought something up about the bridge too, didn't he? Talk about what you could do on the bridging that along with the core.
Yeah, I mean, all that we'd have to get engineers involved and
We can get anything
Clark-
done we
Clark
want if we have the
County
money, that's
soil.
that's right.
so.
I think if we can just get a grant to do the wetlands, but I wanna know how deep we can go, cause then that could give
At
us,
least what our options are with it too.
Right.
yeah, materials we need.
And there's nothing wrong with having that wetlands back there and then having the bigger pond.
Well, the reason you want a bigger pond is two. First of all, gives kids the opportunity to fish, but you can put fish in it. If you don't have fish in it, you're gonna have a mosquito pond. Now, you take off walking back around there about April, May, June, you're gonna get carried away
Oh, sure.
if you
That
don't have
kind of-
something to eat the larva.
Yeah,
That serves our
you'd have
purpose
to,
for Phil,
you'd have to
too.
treat it.
Yeah.
Or put
So-
some sort of insecticide in it or whatever for mosquitoes. Sprinkle that stuff. I don't know.
Right there in
I
the
mean, they
well-
make it, but I
in
don't
the
know if you
well zone.
can or not. That'd be another
Rosie would probably,
EPA question.
Rosie probably try to track us all down if we did that.
But we need the ponds back there too for the fill and to bring up the topsoil and bring up the aggregate to help bring some of those fields up a little bit too.
So these ponds don't actually exist now, you're gonna make them.
Correct.
Yeah.
That back area is very wet, that we can't farm it. It's about 7 acres that we really can't do anything with. So it just kind of made sense to make it into a,
And that's in that like far triangle area back
Yeah.
there.
So we're trying to make the best out of area that can be used, and especially if it works for our benefits off of that.
And these are just kind of artist renderings. These necessarily aren't set in stone where they would be either. So just ideas.
she may not have one that has the wetland on it. Pardon me. She might not have one that
No,
has the
she has
wetland
the
on it.
one with the. She got that.
Yeah. Yeah, those will be basically borrow pits, so we'll dig those to help build up our diamonds in the road and things like that.
Can you guys introduce yourself? Because I've never been here before, and like, I have no like you're
Okay.
you guys
I'm-
are talking and we don't know who you are.
I'm Rick Hanna.
I know you.
Yeah, we know,
I'm Kevin Seifert, the village administrator.
I'm Todd Pettit, Mad River Township trustee.
Bobby McClure, Mad River Township trustee.
Ben Bear, Village of Enon.
David Rudy, fiscal officer for the township. Paul Avery, Village of Enon.
and Brenda's,
And Bobby sitting where I usually sit.
those are our normal.
sweet.
Yeah, he's false advertisement was swinging from the alley.
And since it's a joint project, we have to have both of us here to come up with it. And we always have an issue too, because for what's called an official meeting, once you have more than one of the trustees here, then it has to be publicized, like with us, because of sunshine laws. So it's just not where you can just get a bunch of people together and come up with a meeting. You actually have to follow the Ohio sunshine laws off of it.
But this is gonna be nice when it's done.
We've-
Looks like it's gonna be nice when it's done.
Yeah, we were figuring a 10-year plan. I mean, it can't be done in a day with the funds we have anyway. It can't be.
Well, we initially figured the 2-year plan, went to the 5-year plan, went
Yeah.
to the 7-year plan.
I think that was your plan, Rick.
That was your plan, Rick, not ours. We were more realistic.
Thanks, everybody, for coming out. Well,
Do we have anything else to bring before us tonight? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting's adjourned.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, everybody.